See if we can get this live. All right, we're live. Let me get back on this. Trump's 50-year mortgage insanity. Look at this. The markets are up right now. They're going crazy. The markets are gonna love this. Hold on, I gotta resize something. Let me resize this so I can view. Actually, let me see if I can move this over here. Put this on the right side. There we go. Sorry, I gotta move some things around. Still new to streaming, but hold on, let me triple check this. Okay. So Trump thinks he's the greatest president of all time, and he's doing 50-year mortgages. I like all the things Trump's doing, but 50-year mortgages are just a sign of late-stage capitalism at this point. You look at the amount of debt that you're going to incur over a lifetime, it's just insane. Like, you're essentially just renting from the bank at 50 years. It's just insane. And with the interest rates right now, I mean, pretty much what's happening is the real estate market is a Ponzi scheme, and there's no new buyers. So what do you do to bring new buyers in? Hey, you can do it 50 years, less money, goes out longer. The younger generation, doesn't have any money. They would rather travel and enjoy their money than buy one of these overpriced houses and then be stuck in a 50-year mortgage paying, double what the price of the house is on interest. So they're looking for new buyers. There's not new buyers. And I think like the BlackRocks and the Homes for Rent America of the world are tapped out of money. Like, not tapped out, but like they've already owned 50,000 homes. I mean, they can't buy everything. And real estate prices haven't gone down, but they're stagnant and no one's buying. Like, the home sales numbers have collapsed of people buying and selling homes. So realtors can't be making any money right now because nothing's moving. So like right here, you can see the Dow futures and everything for Monday, US 500 are all going to go rip. Why are they going to rip? Because on top of the 50-year mortgage, Trump just announced every American is going to be getting $2,000 in a tariff dividend, not means tested. So they said 80% of Americans or something like that, maybe that's above people above 18, I don't know how they're doing that, are going to get a $2,000 check. What Trump's really doing is the Supreme Court just blocked the EBT SNAP benefits. So this is a way for him to send out money to everyone so they can buy groceries, keep spending money, keep the economy moving, because he can't send payments directly from the Treasury and he can't get this SNAP, and this government shutdown, is taking its toll. So he's being creative, and he's just going to say, hey, this is money we earned from the tariffs, and send it to every American, and this will replace SNAP. 43 million Americans rely on the government for their food. How many of those actually need the money and they're just abusing the system? I don't know, but there's a lot of people that really need the EBT. There's a lot of people on disability and all kinds of problems, and going into 2 weeks of people not, affording groceries. So if he could get stimulus checks out for $2,000 really quick, it could ease the pain. But I think the Democrats want this. I think the Democrats want the shutdown to continue because at 2-3 weeks of people not having money for food, you're going to have unrest, and then they can blame Trump, and the Democrats can, garner all this unrest again like they did during the BLM. Yeah, if you don't follow this, I don't know how you say it, the Kobeissi report letter. This is a great X account. It has over 1 million followers. It has a lot of the stuff. So market reacts 2,000 tariff dividend Monday. U.S. government shutdown we're on the 41st day. Wow. I didn't realize we've been over a month. All right, let's look at this. Tariff dividend announced. Wow. Debt out the wazoo. We have the 270 billion stimulus package here, the 160 billion stimulus here, the 401 here, the Trump dividend. Like this, we are in late stage capitalism right now. This is just insanity. The 50-year mortgage is insane. Like the amount of interest you're going to pay, that's just insane. And then all of a sudden, hey, everyone's getting $2,000. What's the point of paying taxes? What is the point of paying taxes? Like, I enjoy, hey, we should get to $2,000. Instead of sending Ukraine $100 billion, why don't we give every American a check? And at this point, like, we're entering a stage in this late stage capitalism. Like, what's the point of paying taxes? I think they should just end the IRS, end taxes, and that the states and federal government just print what they need, and people can just go out and grow the economy. Yeah. Also, like crypto with a $2,000 dividend check, crypto is going to rip. Remember what happened last time with the COVID payments where everyone was getting the money and unemployment went up? What did people do? They stayed at home. They went to Robinhood. They did leverage options on the stock market. All that money went into the stocks. It went into crypto, went to meme coins, altcoins. It could be a meme coin season with everyone getting $2,000 and they didn't work for it. Someone might be like, I don't care. I'm just gonna put $2,000 on something crazy. It's lottery money, free money, Let's see. Okay, here's the tweet. People that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price. Pause. With almost no inflation. I love Trump, but that is a bullshit statement. I mean, there's inflation, massive inflation on any metric. Housing inflation? Like, what's so stupid? All right, let's go to ChatGPT. I want to ask a question. Come on. Let's ask a question. What metric is the government measuring inflation? No? Internet's slow or something. Is the U.S. government measuring inflation? Maybe. I don't know why my ChatGPT is not working. No. All right, it's not working. All right. It's just okay, inflation. The cost of food's gone up 30-40%. The grocery store food. Housing, multiple X. Travel. I mean, anything you're gonna go do, stay at a hotel in the US, it's a couple $100. Everything you want to do has gone up in price. And if they're measuring it, I mean, maybe cars have gotten a little cheaper because the car market's slowing down. I think the car market, these car companies are gonna have a lot of trouble because these used cars aren't moving, and then there's not gonna be all these people buying these new cars. Like, we literally live in like idiocracy. Like, the last crash, they did cash for clunkers, so people were taking cars that worked, and the government was buying them back for $500, destroying them, and then selling the scrap metal to China. Like, we're just ruining perfectly good cars that work so we can clear the system so that the car manufacturers can start making it. We're flooded with cars. Like, what are all these Ford and GM gonna do? And no one's buying new cars, and there's all these used cars available, and they're doing like, what are they gonna do? 20-year like loans on these cars? Like, all these subprime loans are just so bad. What people are paying on these loans for cars are just crazy. And we have no public transport, so you need to have a car in America. So, no inflation, total bullshit. Record stock market price. The stock market has no correlation to the real economy right now. The real economy is going this way, and the stock market is going this way right now. So, like, the worse the real economy is doing, the better the stock market is, because the stock market is predictive. So it knows the worse the economy is doing, the Fed's going to lower the rates, and the stocks are going to go off to the races. We're taking in trillions of dollars, and we'll soon be paying down our enormous debt of $37 trillion. We're not going to be paying any of this $37 trillion off. And Trump's new budget was like insanity, and that's what he got in the big fight with Elon, because, all right, Elon cuts and saves a couple $1 billion, and then Trump's new budget's just a free-for-all. Record investment in the USA. Plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. I like that it includes high-income people, because those are people actually contributing, and it's like, why should all the bottom feeder, like people that aren't doing anything in this society, get these checks? I think the hardworking people should get the checks. Like, I think for COVID, if you made over a certain amount, you didn't qualify. But it's kind of BS, because, all right, say, I don't know, maybe you had to make under 100 grand. I don't know what the number was, but like, all right, you're living in New York and you're making 120. I mean, making 120 in New York or making under 100 grand in Arkansas is completely different with your cost of living. I think it should be for everybody. It shouldn't be means tested. Here it is. The great American precedents: 30-year mortgage, 50-year mortgage. This is the beginning of the end of the real estate bubble, I think. 50-year mortgages, they're just out of new buyers. And I've told you that it's going to be crazy when this market crashes, because Homes for Rent America, 55,000 homes. All these publicly traded companies own 50+ thousand single family homes that are renting them. What happens when there's no renters? And that company goes bankrupt, and they have to start selling, and they all 50,000 homes go on the market at the same time, because Homes for Rent America goes bankrupt. What's the real estate market going to look like? Well, where I saw a thing by okay, I liked what she had to say. Let me shrink this. This is from the rep Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not even like the biggest fan of hers, but I liked what she had to say here. I don't like the 50-year mortgages and the solution to the housing affordability crisis. It will ultimately reward the banks, mortgage lenders, and home builders while people pay far more in interest over time and die before they ever pay off their own. In debt forever, in debt for life. Instead, stop companies and asset managers from buying up single family homes, which has driven the price of homes and forced homebuyers to compete with corporations that turn thousands of homes into permanent rental homes. Let people with a good rent history qualify for mortgages, and pass my bill no capital gains tax on the sale of the first primary home. This will help people keep the equity they have earned owning their home for a very long time and likely allow them to lower the price of their home for the sale since they won't be paying taxes after they sell their home. It really will help seniors sell their houses and keep their equity, which also in turn gives them money they need and gets put back in the economy. That was very well written. So she's right. Corporations are buying tens of thousands of homes. You're competing with companies with unlimited money, which are driving up their prices. And you have all these boomers. And the problem with the boomers is their real estate's worth a ton of money. Like if you bought a house for 1.5 and now it's worth $5 million and you sell that, your capital gains is going to be crazy. So they're going to stay in their homes, or they're going to rent them out, or they're going to sell it and do a 1031 exchange, which is where you can convert that into like-kind property, and then they make it an investment. So maybe they sell it and they buy 5 single-family homes for $1 million a piece and then rent them out as income, and then they go rent down by the beach or something. So the real estate market's broken. And the other thing that's annoying is, like, I'm from Orange County, California. Like, everyone's in real estate here, and these people aren't that smart. They've just made right place, right time, been in real estate for a while, and they're all like millionaires, and they think they're the shit. And they're not. I mean, all right, some people are developers, whatever, but most people are just flipping real estate. They're not really contributing that much to our economy. Like, the people that should be rewarded and making a lot of money are the producers, people manufacturing things, great services. Our economy is not really rewarding the right people right now. And I know all these big industrial real estate developers, and it's like they build this building for $2-3 million. Now it's worth $20 million. They sell it and they do the 1031 exchange and they buy all these other properties, but they never pay any tax, right? Because they're flipping it into other buildings and renting it out. So they never pay the penalty in the cash. They just flip it in other properties and collect rent forever. So these families own these insane real estate portfolios and they've never paid any capital gains tax on all this stuff. If I were to become a politician, one thing I would do, there needs to be a mandatory capital gains tax if you sell a property. Even if you're flipping it to another property, I would make it like a mandatory, not like, I think if you just sell it flat out right now, it's like a 34% capital gains tax, depending where you are, I'm not sure. But what I would do, even if you're doing a 1031 exchange, I would have a 5% tax. So it would be like the regular capital gains tax, which they should lower so people can cash out and let younger people get into the homes. And then the other thing they should do is people that are 1031ing and just never paying, I think there should be a mandatory 5% capital gains tax on all 1031 exchanges. That raises money for the government. These people are putting some money in the system where they're never paying tax the way they're operating right now. But I think when this market crashes, because we have socialism for the rich. These big companies get in trouble. They get bailed out by the populace. We have capitalism for the poor, where no one's coming to help you. And when the system crashes, we're just going to have a rise of socialism and communism because people are going to blame capitalism. But what we have right now is not like pure capitalism. We have just some bullshit system right now. So I don't know. It's just gonna be a shit show when the system implodes, and you're gonna see all these states raise property taxes. So even if you paid off your home, you're gonna owe all this freaking money, and then they're gonna come after all the real estate people big time, and they can do the 50-year mortgage, they can tax this and this, but at the end of the day, this is a money problem. You print all this money, people are saving their money in real estate, which is driving the price up. They're parking money in hard assets. And if you aren't holding hard assets and they're about to give every person in the country another $2,000, you're going to just be losing money. Everything is going to be crazy. Let me see if I can find, there's a good... Steve Bannon had this.
Letters. I don't want any more,
Where did I have this?
By the growth is based upon a couple of things. One is the capital investment made possible by the big beautiful bill. In addition, and this is the addiction we have, you have to just understand that we are addicted to we're a Keynesian infusion. There is no understanding of economics that says, with where we are in employment and where we are with inflation, that you continue to basically turbocharge by these massive deficits. That is the $7 trillion of spending with the $5 trillion that we take in, that $2 trillion essential gap. And some of that's being cut by tariffs, but that's still there. And no, spending has not been cut virtually at all. Doge didn't do it. That was all phony. Russ Vought is attempting to do it, but when we talk about rescission package, you're talking about $5 billion here, $3 billion, mainly symbolic to show that President Trump's Article 2 powers, he has the ability that the appropriations bill, which is a law, is a ceiling, not a floor. Until you get, as we've preached on this show for years, until you get the control of the spending in the gap, the financing of that, because basically a third of that has to be rolled over and financed, you're going to continue in inflation because you're financing it at higher rates.
He's totally right. Like, all the Doge stuff was just, it says a couple billion here, a couple billion here. It's a drop in the bucket, and his new spending bill was just insane. Like, it just washed away any of that. I can't find the video. It was someone like had reposted a clip of it, but it was like what I was saying. He's like, all the youth are going to go against capitalism, but we don't have capitalism right now. We just have this, socialist for the rich, capitalism for the poor system. And unfortunately, you got to move fast and take risk and invest in hard assets and Bitcoin and all this stuff, because at tariff refunds, 50-year mortgages, this is like the end game. Like, I don't see how the current economy stays intact or doesn't crash pretty soon with 50-year mortgages and all this stuff. Also, everyone's going to be caught one-sided when this thing crashes, because, like, how can you short the market or take the opposite side bet when the government just comes in and manipulates the system every time? They just change the rules. They move the goal line. It's gonna be like, what's it, black swan theory? Like, the more you try to control something, the higher probability an unlikely event happens and crashes the whole system. We are controlling the stock market. We are controlling the real estate market. We are controlling the gold market. We're manipulating the jobs numbers. All the stats are manipulated. So it's very hard for people to make the right decisions right now, because if you go by the mainstream media and the government numbers, you're just gonna, when this thing goes down, you're just gonna be absolutely clueless. Just like the last one, the rating agencies were all in on the fix and giving these companies AAA ratings, and they weren't. It was all garbage. And there's just gonna be a lot of pissed off people. And there's no job security anymore. You know, all these people are just like, oh, I just worked for Amazon for 10 years. I got emailed and I got laid off. Like, there's no job security. They don't owe you anything. It's a mercenary out there. That's why I'm like, hey, if you can side hustle or start your own company on the side, don't quit your day job. But a lot of people are going to lose their jobs when the market crashes. And another thing is software and AI is going to replace people faster than jobs are created right now. Like, just this whole entire industry is in the next, not like instantly, I'm saying in the next 24 months, a lot of people are going to get replaced by AI and chatbots and all this stuff. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, 50-year mortgage, tax, tariff refund. The tariff thing, it really reminds me of like the Great Depression. And there's a lot of similarities now between our time period and the Great Depression. There was a trade war going on, tariffs, all this stuff. It's very, very similar. And China holds all their cards. China produces all the goods. They have all the raw earth materials. We live on a global economy now. There's other people they can sell their goods to. There's other emerging markets, and they're trying to build those out right now. And if U.S. wants to go into a nuclear trade war, China has to stop shipping us. The inflation look like in the United States if China stopped shipping us? Whoa. Like, it's like, think about the COVID when there wasn't stuff on the shelves. Everyone had money. I'm from a rich area. Everyone's rich. They're millionaires. What are you willing to pay for that toilet paper? What are you willing to pay for that detergent? What are you willing to pay for that extra refrigerator to put in your garage? The prices just went insane. So imagine that. The government's giving free checks to everybody. China's not shipping any products in. So what's here or what we can get from other countries could double or triple in price. And then you're competing with the guy who's got a couple million in the bank that's willing to pay whatever to get that extra refrigerator or whatever. The prices will go bananas. And the government, instead of going after itself for spending all this money and creating this inflation and depegging the dollar from gold, what are they going to do? They're going to go after other people, which leads to this. Hold on. Zero hedge. Here. Trump targets foreign-owned meatpacking cartel to arrest beef prices and defend small ranchers. So, this could be true. The meat prices have just gone insane. And we do have this whole vertical consolidation and rampant monopoly. So, I mean, this is probably true that these companies are colluding. And when you just let all these companies combine and there's like 4 companies in each industry, it's not just meat or oil, whatever. It's like every industry. In our packaging industry, there used to be like 10, 12 manufacturers. There's like 4 now. There's no buying power as a distributor. It's just monopolies have formed in almost every industry because these big companies can get cheap money and they buy all the other companies. And, you know, there are monopolies, there is price fixing. But is the meat price going up because of companies or is it because of inflation? Probably both. But what's going to happen when the food prices start going crazy is that they're going to go after the grocery stores. They're going to go after the meat, the farmers. The government's gonna go after everyone but themselves. And when they start price fixing, it's the beginning of the end. When they start price fixing, hey, this can't go more than this, that's the beginning of the end. And they're not fast enough to like increase Social Security or the EBT to keep up with this stuff. So the bottom of the barrel people are going to be screwed because you're going to have the Social Security check that that's all income you have to retire on, and it's not going to buy you anything. And they'll nominally raise it, but you know that the real inflation's triple what they say it's going to be, and when you go to the grocery store, you can't buy anything. The other day, I was in this grocery store, and this like older lady, buying canned food and just stuff, not good stuff, not healthy stuff, and it's like probably can't afford anything else. Like people are just eating canned food and microwavable foods, and just fueling the whole obesity, unhealthy epidemic in this country. We're in a vicious cycle, and I kind of think we're at the end of the cycle. I don't see us getting out of it. Like Trump, probably the best candidate we can have right now for president to try to fix this. But these things have been decades in the making. We can't just undo them. You can't just bring these factories back here. And unfortunately, he's not a dictator. So he's out of here, and then you're going to have another guy in. And that's kind of America's disadvantage. Like you look at, China, they have a dictator. They're able to think long-term and implement long-term goals. Where in politics in the U.S., everyone's just trying to get elected to the next cycle, then 2 years, 4 years. So they're more worried about short-term results than these long-term programs. So we'll see. I also saw some interesting thing that China's cooked their numbers of people living in their country by 500 million, which would be really interesting. Which makes sense because they have the one-child policy, but all these governments are just lying about their numbers, and China's got ghost cities. China has a lot of problems too, but China has a hybrid system of capitalism and socialism, communism, and it's kind of beating the U.S. right now. So we'll see, but I'm expecting fireworks in the economy sooner than later, and with what the government's doing right now, they're starting to get